A limited company is a company in which the liability of members or subscribers of the company is limited to what they have invested or guaranteed to the company. Limited companies may be limited by shares or by guarantee. The former may be further divided into public companies and private companies. Who may become a member of a private limited company is restricted by law and by the company's rules. In contrast, anyone may buy shares in a public limited company. Limited companies can be found in most countries, although the detailed rules governing them vary widely. It is also common for a distinction to be made between the publicly tradable companies of a PLC type, Czech AS and the Spanish, French, Polish and Romanian S.A, and the private types of company. Kinds: private company limited by guarantee. This is a company that does not have share capital, but is guaranteed by its members, who agree to pay a fixed amount in the event of the company's liquidation. Charitable organizations are often incorporated using this form of limited liability. Another example is the Financial Conduct Authority. In Australia, only an unlisted public company can be limited by guarantee. Private company limited by shares. Has shareholders with limited liability and its shares may not be offered to the general public. Shareholders of private companies limited by shares are often bound to offer the shares to their fellow shareholders prior to selling them to a third party. Public limited company. A public limited company can be publicly traded on a stock exchange. This is similar to the U.S. corporation and the German Aktiengesellschaft. Differentiate between private and public limited companies. Private limited companies. 1. Its minimum number of persons is 2 and the maximum is 50. 2. It makes the use of private limited after its name. 3. It can commence its business operation after getting certificate of incorporation. 4. The Memorandum of Association and the Articles of Association is signed by at least 2 persons. 5. The filling of both Memorandum and Article of Association is obligatory. 6. It does not require the filling of the prospectus or statement in lieu of prospectus. 7. It cannot sell shares to the general public in the open market. 8. Transfer of share is restricted in the Articles of Association. 9. There are at least 2 directors and they need not retire by rotation. 10. There is no legal restriction on directors' remuneration. Public limited companies. 1. Its minimum number of persons is 7 and the maximum is unlimited. 2. It makes the use of the word limited after the name. 3. It requires both the certificate of incorporation and the certificate of commencement for its commencement. 4. Its memorandum and articles of association is signed by at least 7 persons. 5. It may not have its own articles of association because it may adopt Table A. 6. It must file prospectus or statement in lieu of prospectus before allotment of shares. 7. It sells shares to the general public in the open market. 8. Transfer of shares is not restricted and as such shares are freely transferable and are quoted in the stock exchange. 9. It is at least 3 directors and they are subject to retire by rotation. 10. The directors cannot draw remuneration more than 11% of the net profit of the company. In specific countries, Australia, the private company equivalent in Australia is the proprietary limited company. An Australian company with only limited or limited after its name is a public company, such as a company listed on the ASX. Australia does not have a direct equivalent of the PLC. A shareholder in a limited company, in the event of its becoming insolvent, would be liable to contribute the amount remaining unpaid on the shares. Paid here relates to the amount paid to the company for the shares on first issue, and should not be confused with amounts paid by one shareholder to another to transfer ownership of shares between them. A shareholder is thus afforded limited liability. Canada. In Canada, a person wishing to register a limited company must file articles of incorporation with either their provincial government or the federal government. India. In India, the designation private limited, or private Ltd is suffixed to all private limited companies, while public limited is used for a public limited company. The registration of companies in India is handled by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which is charged with administering the Companies Act 2013 and other acts related to the Indian private sector. South Africa. In South Africa the term, Thai, limited is used to refer to a private limited company. Recently all proprietary are regulated by the CIPC. United Kingdom. The registration of companies in the United Kingdom is done through Companies House, which operates offices in London, Cardiff, Edinburgh and Belfast. Prior to October 1, 2009, the registration of companies in Northern Ireland was the responsibility of the Department of Enterprise, Trade and Investment. On the commencement of the Companies Act 2006, Northern Ireland's previously distinct company law was repealed and the new Companies Code instituted by that act was extended to Northern Ireland. United States. In the United States the expression corporation is preferred to limited company. A limited liability company is a different entity. However, some states permit corporations to have the designation limited to signify their corporate status. Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe the term, PVT, limited refers to a private company limited by share capital. All private entities are regulated by the Registrar of Companies in Harare. See also, company formation, corporation, limited liability company, limited liability partnership, share capital, types of business entity, unlimited company, Yargen Gaisha, references. External links, limited liability company UK Business Link, general information about limited liability companies UK Business Link.